That kid's half hillbilly. I am blue blood through and through. Why? What do I look like sharing amenities? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome or welcome back to Soap Floor, the official gathering place for newbies, novices, and OG diehard fans of the golden age of primetime. I'm your host, Jed. I'm viewing and reviewing the soapiest, sexiest primetime storyline of 1984. So whether you're new to this or true to this, sit back and enjoy. Tell the kids it's time to play outside or out of sight. Tell babe no questions, suggestions, or concerns for the next 25 to 35 minutes. Everyone else in earshot, cool, quiet, or kicked out are the only options you got today because we are watching our stories. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Soap Floor. Hello, gorgeous. Welcome and welcome back to another fun-filled edition of Soap Floor. I hope your day is shaping up well. I am on the edge of my seat. I am so excited to bring this episode to you. Today we're back in Denver, ripping and running with the Carringtons. Only we're going to talk way more about the bit players, the peripheral-ers, if you will. Today's episode is a masterclass in gold digging and being gold adjacent. We are watching season 4, episode 24, The Check. Cut the check. That's what we all get up and go to work for, right? A little extra money. But there are people who make it their business to put themselves on the path of others who are wealthier. This may be looked down on in some circles. Sometimes it's not. We talked about Anna Nicole Smith not too long ago, and I've given my opinions. But today we're going to talk about a would-be gold digger, if they understood the opportunity was there, a gold digger supreme, and a gold digger who got it just right until it all went wrong. So go ahead and pour yourself up something bubbly and bright as we jump into season 4, episode 24 of Dynasty, The Check. So, I never thought I'd say this, but today we are toasting to Mark Gigolo Jenkins. His last name is Jenkins. What is his name? Mark Jennings. Matter of fact, I watched this episode and I was so tickled that I said, you know what? When I have my something bubbly and bright today, I'm going to make sure and drink it out of a champagne flute. So in honor of K-Fed's patron saint and icon, Mark Jennings, I'm going to drink this here raspberry Topo Chico and a little grenadine out of my champagne flute. Oh, that's very pretty. And I'm doing this because every time we see Mark, he is either with a glass in hand or fresh off of a glass. Baby boy is champagne Papi this entire episode. We got to get through him. We're going to talk about Kirby and why she needs female role models and maybe a money coach. And then a surprise, somebody I had completely and totally forgotten about. But first, we got to talk about some of these bit players. Speaking of bits, I got so hyped watching the show. I don't know why I got so excited for Mark that I decided it was time to bring out my Dynasty jewels. I have been slowly collecting some very fabulous costume jewelry, only to put on my earrings and realize they were too heavy. Went on Amazon after watching a video on YouTube and found out that they make different sized backings. Now, I've noticed this when you buy jewelry, especially earrings, obviously earrings. The backing, sometimes it's really small, sometimes it's larger and plastic, but they make different ones for heavier jewelry. So come Tuesday, I'm going to be set. Also, this beverage could probably use a little alcohol, but it's not bad. All right, where should we begin? I know I said the bit player, so I think we can start with Tracy without any incident. First time we see Tracy this episode, she is in a steaming hot shower. Smoke is billowing, water pressure is on 10. And I noticed immediately she has a large and spacious shower. That's not surprising because even though Tracy may or may not be a gold digger, she definitely is. That's the speech she gave last time she talked to Crystal and got the taste slapped out of her mouth. Seems like she's found a couple taste buds because she has developed a taste for Dexter, who happens to be the next person who enters the scene in this oversized shower. So by my deduction, I would say Tracy is this PR extraordinaire. She's probably done a really good job, squirreled away a little money, dated a few top dogs, and created a pretty nice life for herself. She's only adding to that resume because now she's with one of the heads of LexDex or DexLex Exploration. I don't really know what they do. Dexter. And he has agreed to pay her a double salary. Let her tell it. Now, I thought when they were in Hong Kong, the decision was made. He would pay her a salary. She would then get a job with Alexis and then have a double salary that way. But in the shower, she's frustrated. She's frustrated because she could tell Dexter was frustrated. She could tell when they were in the sack that he wasn't all that into it. She wants to know, Dexter, what's on your mind? Are you worried about Alexis? He doesn't even pick up the subliminal. It wasn't even subliminal. She's basically saying, are you thinking about someone else while you're with me? I want to know everything about that woman. I want to know every phone call she makes. I want to know whoever she talks to. And Tracy's like, you want to know who else she dates? I don't care about that. He definitely cares about that. Dex is deep in his feelings, and I don't blame him. He's never had a baddie like Alexis. No one to challenge him, no one to dismiss him. And I think it's probably 70-30. He's really upset that they're not together and that she cheated on him. But I think he's also 30% pissed off that she dismissed him. Anyway, Tracy's like, okay, that's cute. You can continue to pay me a double salary and I will be a double agent for you. No problem. But could you at least leave her out of our bed? Every time we're in bed together, you're talking about her. Now, she's making it sound like this is a long relationship. Tell me why didn't Alexis just get off the plane from Hong Kong like 3 hours ago? Tracy and Dexter have been together a weekend, and I'm starting to see the cracks. Like, okay. I see why, Tracy, you were struggling with the sassy, seductress secretary school. You too clingy, young lady. You were jumping the gun. He don't want you like that. You got a job. Get these 3 checks and go about your life. Definitely some daddy issues, though. But Tracy agrees. I'm going to do my part. You just leave this woman. When we're intimate, can we just be intimate? He's like, cool. Let me just shake it off and we can continue. I was very impressed, first and foremost, with the dubbing in this scene because the shower is quite loud. I was not joking about the water pressure being phenomenal and there being steam, but they dubbed the scene perfectly. And the next time we see Miss Tracy, she is waiting for Alexis in Alexis's office after a kind of a funny event. We'll get to that. So as Alexis comes into her office, Douglas, or so we think is Douglas hands her some messages and he tells her, oh, Miss, whatever Tracy's last name is, Kendall, I think. Miss Kendall is in there for you. She's like, who let her in? Thank you, Douglas. Oh, I'm not Douglas. I'm Jerome. Jerome looked just like Douglas. I don't know why Alexis runs through 50-11 male secretaries, but I'm here for it. I'd like to celebrate it. Matter of fact, let me raise my champagne flute. Here's to you, Alexis. Guys, I highly recommend it. I'm not joking when I tell you to pour yourself something bubbly and bright. Perhaps something a little more exciting than sparkling water if that's not your thing. This flute got me in my feelings. Not my feelings. This flute has me feeling myself. Anyway, it's not about me right now. Tracy is prepared. Alexis is aware of who she is because Dexter did put her on to who, Tracy being Blake's ex PR lady. I love this scene. It's not very long, but God, this woman is hilarious. Tracy immediately stands up and she's like, Alexis Colby, I'm so excited to be here. You may have heard that I parted ways from Denver Carrington, and I was hoping to do some great things here at Colby Co. And Alexis is like, yes, darling. I heard about your job. I know you left it. Alexis gets right to it. So what did Blake do to make you leave? Tracy says, well, no, it was a mutual decision. And Alexis is like, okay, girl. Sure it was. And then she doesn't come right out and say that she feels a way about being fired. But she's like, I worked for Blake and I learned a lot while I was there. And Alexis is like, you don't have to tell me why you got fired or why you quit. I'm sure, how does she put it? Sure, it's because Blake is obsessed with his mediocre wife's position. Like basically saying, we all know that you're the real PR person, but I mean, that's his loss. Unfortunately, I'm not interested. Tracy's like, listen, I know you would be. I learned a lot of things that most people don't know about Blake Carrington. I have front row seat to. I know a whole lot of information. And Alexis is like, people who have a lot of secrets are only loyal to money. How do I know you're not going to flip on me? Tracy seals the deal by quoting Alexis, basically saying, I'm loyal to the money, pledge allegiance to the bag. Something to that effect. Alexis is impressed. She thinks to herself, this woman hates Blake. She used to work for Blake and she's about her money. This is my kind of girl. Welcome to Colby Co. You are the second female to ever work for this company. Probably going to be the last. Tracy immediately goes out into the lobby and makes a very loud phone call and says, Dex, I'm in. I understand this is television, but why are y'all telling all y'all business? My goodness. Stealthiness is important. Stealth. I've been thinking about this episode long and hard, and part of me wishes I was a little bit better of a voice actor. I might try this and just give you the point of view. I would love to do this all from Dex's point of view because he had an incredible day on this day. So let's go ahead and start at the top. At the beginning of this episode, we see Dexter and some hot-to-trot little blonde who looks a lot like Shelley Long, fresh off of a rendezvous. Now, he's giggling, he's sniggling, he's having a good old time. He's touchy-feely. This girl's having the time of her life. They're in Alexis's penthouse, and they're about to get a little champagne and go out on the terrace and have a good time. You see, Mom's away at the opera, so Mark has the home all to himself that night. Only while him and Miss Blondie Pooh are, touching and feeling all over each other, complimenting each other on the job well done in the sack. Mark, in true side dude slash kept man slash oldest son fashion, hears the elevator and sees a little light flash indicating that someone is coming up to the penthouse. There can only be one person coming up to the penthouse. Mom's home. Oh, crap. Alexis is back. Oh my God, you gotta go. So he starts shuffling Miss Boo thing out the back way. Thank God for that back staircase. It is paying dividends. So as he ushers her out, Mark needs to remind the audience that he is athletic. He grabs a champagne bucket, a couple flutes, because he's still gonna drink. And he uses his foot to open the sliding door and close it. He goes out on the terrace just in enough time. As he leaves, Alexis waltz into this penthouse, only she's not alone, and she's pissed. I can't believe you're waiting outside for me. I was at the opera, and here you come with these accusations. It's Blake. Blake is big pissed. Blake left the house to come cuss out his baby mother because he feels like she had something to do with Ahmed Rashid and this whole wolf ticket he's selling the world, making Blake look like a crook and a criminal and things. Alexis was on a tour de force acting just... Blake, I can't believe you would say that. You thought I painted Jeff into a coma. You thought I tried to kill him, but I didn't. You never believed me. You never believe anything I say. Mind you, she's doing this in this killer emerald green dress, matching jewels. He's pissed. Alexis, this smell like you. I know you saw him, man. I know you did. She's like, you're crazy. You're crazy. You're always blaming me. You never believe me, Blake. You never believe me. For whatever reason, he buys this. He's like, damn. Okay, I'm sorry. I guess you're right. You're right. I'm sorry I ruined your opera night. I'm so sorry. So as he leaves, we see Mark out on the terrace sipping some champagne. Let me go ahead and have me a little sip too. He's sipping champagne in a celebratory fashion because he knows he's got her right where he wants her. Mark has been playing his part. He's been biding his time, biting his tongue. Keeping quiet, he's been kicked out of every room he's been in. It is finally going to pay off because Mark, if you recall, was sent away in Hong Kong. Alexis made one fatal mistake. When she booked the rooms, although Mark had a separate room, it was still an adjoining room. So that means he could see her room very, very clearly. He could see the comings and goings. And when she kicked him out, gave him some money and sent him downstairs to the arcade, on his way out, he saw Ahmed making his way in. I just had a thought. Dexter also knows she was with Ahmed Rashid. But I guess he doesn't care, or maybe the news hasn't really hit him, at least not on this episode, about Blake's company being in the tank now because everyone thinks he was like funding the rebels or something. That's neither here nor there. What's here there is that Mark has gotten out. He's got a way to get a big fat payday. Finally, after years of chasing skirts, tennis lessons to moderately rich broads, sure, it's been fun. Sure, it strokes his ego, but I mean, he don't need that. What he needs is a fat payday. Mark goes and takes a celebratory shower and polishes off the bottle of champagne, I'm assuming, because the next time we see him, he is in his bathrobe, pair of flip-flops, and he is hollering downstairs, Alexis, Alexis. And she's pissed because she's already in the bed. She's already been accosted by Blake with the truth. She managed to snake her way out of that. But she comes down the stairs in a fabulous robe, no doubt. Mark, what do you want? Oh, you're drunk. And he's like, yeah, I'm drunk. I'm also rich. I'm also about to get paid. She says, what are you going on about? It's like, I saw Blake here a little while ago, and I heard you tell him you had never laid eyes on Rashid Ahmed while you were in Hong Kong. Meanwhile, I saw Rashid Ahmed leave your room more times than a little bit. Matter of fact, I heard you ask him to sabotage Blake for $5 million. So what I'm trying to tell you, baby girl, is you're about to give me a raise. And she's like, well, damn, I can't believe this. To my shock, she agrees. How much is this going to cost me, Mark? How much is it going to cost me to shut you up? $100K. You guys know that the living from a go is my Roman Empire. That would be around $300,000 today. That's good money. Plus, remember, he had squirreled away $20,000. He knows what's up. It's also interesting. Mark brings up a point. He says, you're the best liar I've ever met in my life, and you've got a ton of enemies. Usually you just bulldoze over them. There's something about Carrington that has you shook, though. I wonder what he would do with this information. I would agree with that. Even though my personal opinion is that she could take him, I don't know what it is about him either. There is something that she's always sort of circling around him, looking for ways to destroy him, but I don't know. I don't feel like it's an even playing field. She could flatten him. I don't think he could flatten her. Again, she is running the number one company. He's running the number two. Anyways, the next day, Mark is enjoying yet another glass of dark liquor when all of a sudden, McVane, the congressman, the pedo congressman, comes up that back stairway. Mark says, what the hell are you doing? See, Mark had just received the $100,000 check from Alexis. So he was just kind of enjoying his time, having a celebratory beverage when McVane walks in. He's like, dude, how'd you get in here? Back stairwell. Alexis has made me use it a few times. You got any information on her yet? All this time, I thought Mark was reporting back to McVane, giving him all the tea. Remember, they made an agreement. McVane was like, I'm going to pay you. You're going to tell me everything there is to know about Alexis, and I'm going to bring her down. I'm going to blackmail her. Let me find out that Mark Jennings is not that type of guy. Yes, he is a gold digger. Yes, he is an opportunist. But what he ain't is a snitch. For whatever reason, he is kind of protecting Alexis. Or maybe he know McVane don't have no money like that. Who knows? Either way, keeping quiet is paying dividends, and he wants to continue this. So he basically tells McVane, him to leave. Now, I was a little disappointed in this scene because I thought Mark was going to give him an Alexis read. He starts it off. He basically says, why don't you leave the same way you came up? I thought he was going to tell him, don't touch any girls on the way out. He didn't say that. He just tells him to leave. And the next time you want to talk to me, don't do it here. Wiggles his bushy eyebrows and sends McVane on his way. McVane can't believe it. He said, what the? Did he just kick me out? Yeah, he just kicked you out. Also, McVane absolutely has nothing on Mark at this time. I just thought about that. He can't very well go to Alexis and say, hey, your bodyguard is feeding me intel, because he's not. But what he can do is follow Mark Jennings around. If he won't tell McVane any personal anecdote about Alexis, then maybe McVane can see it for himself. Only when he follows Mark, to his surprise, Mark goes to the Bank of Denver, deposits a hefty check, flirts a little bit with the banker lady. She appreciates his business, hands him a card. I guess it's a debit card. I don't know. I don't think it's a debit card in 1984, but hands him a card. Mark walks out. We find out pretty quickly that McVane was there. He's like hiding behind a piece of paper, listening and watching the whole transaction. Mark is on one. He's feeling good about himself. He is a champagne Papi. He gets good and drunk again, I suppose. And then he heads over to Denver Carrington, announces himself in the offices of Crystal Carrington, and enters. And the first thing he says, he's acting kind of funny. But he's like, man, I remember when I didn't have to go through so many hoops to get to you. He's like, hey, Mark, what are you doing here? She's keeping it very cute. She's got her own thing to worry about, but she's being very cordial. Hey, Mark, what are you doing here? I just wanted to say, hey, I just wanted to come by and tell you you're amazing, blah, blah, blah. She can tell right away that he's drunk. She lived many years with him and it's alcohol abuse, so she knows that he's drunk. And he's like, listen. He basically tells her that he wanted to come and say goodbye to the lady he's always loved. You're so beautiful, this, that, and the third. And also, I'm sorry for any trouble I brought to you, but I just want you to know you're worth 2 Blake Carrington and 20 of me. And my God, a world full of Alexises. Basically, you are just a gem. You are a precious, precious woman. Only woman I ever loved. But yeah, I'm out of here. I game, set, match. I got what I needed. He didn't really tell her what. He just explains, I'm gonna go. She really wants to know why. And she thinks it's something like Alexis did something to him. He goes like, look, she's a pain in the butt, but I mean, I'm not worried about her. You, on the other hand, should be looking over your shoulder always. This woman is, she's everything you think she is and then some, but love you. They give each other a little hug and it's really cute. Love you. I'll see you later. Goodbye. Well, she just feels funny. Like this is a weird scene now that I really think about it. She's like, Mark, just be careful. Be careful. I don't know why. And he goes, don't worry, girl. I got eyes in the back of my head. Ain't nobody worried about me. He's on his way to New York City. I think $300,000 worth of money in today's money. In New York, you could do some damage, especially in the 80s. Especially in the early 80s. He probably is just fine. Plus, he's still fine. He's still got dimples. He still knows how to play tennis. He could run this whole scheme over and over and over again. Now, is it a scheme? Not really. He kind of got lucky. Mark is used to sort of mooching off wealthy women. He's used to sort of running game. But by saving a life, he was then employed by another wealthy woman, even after he banged her daughter. And he got in and out. As soon as he got the money, he went ahead and got out. He didn't have to marry her. He's not doing any weird favors for her. That's how you get that gold. That's a gold digger extreme. He hadn't compromised his morals in any way. He's not embarrassed to be seen with her. Now he's got 100,000 reasons to walk away. And plus 20 that he's earned. So good for you, Mark. He's tipsy I hope he don't crash somewhere now that I think about it. I hope he don't fall out somewhere. He is drunk this entire episode. You know who's not drunk though? Our good sister Kirby. I think before we jump into Kirbythius, though, we need to discuss Blake and his big dilemma. As you know, Blake was mortified when he turned on the TV after a terrible announcement of a new marriage and found out that this dirt dude, who he has a terrible history with, stabbed him in the back, set him up. Imagine that. Imagine doing business to the tune of $100 million, only to have someone you've never trusted in your life turn their back on you, set you up. It's embarrassing. It's devastating. You went to go cuss out your ex-wife and she's like, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Why would you do business with someone who hates you? Valid point. So now Blake has to scramble. He has to think really, really fast. And his thought is, let me go to Hong Kong and I'll talk to that government and see what they can do. If I can just get that government to say, hey, we didn't buy any arms with this. We're using this for whatever projects we said we were going to use it for. Then it'll all be cool. It'll all be golden. He says, Adam, I want you to come to Hong Kong with me, okay? I need you. Adam's like, absolutely, bro. I'll be there. What do you want me to do? Blake says, I want you to be ready to go by 8 a.m. tomorrow. We got to go to San Francisco first, and then we're going to go on the plane. We're going to go to Hong Kong. So while they're on the private plane, he and Blake, Adam and Blake, that is, are talking about like, dude, how did this happen? What went wrong? Why do you think Rashid Ahmed did this? Blake says, gosh, I mean, I think this was maybe a long time coming. I maybe underestimated that. He was more upset with me than I realized. His brother, Farouk, tried to set me up with a deal or something one time, and I kicked him out of my office. Maybe he was really embarrassed. Adam's like, or maybe mother had something to do with this. Funny thing is, the night previous, after everything went down, the whole family was at Fallon and Jeff's announcement of their engagement, right? The whole family, with the exception of Fallon, heads to Denver Carrington. They're on the phone. They're talking to press. They're doing all this work. trying to like figure out what went wrong. When they get back to the house, Crystal's in the kitchen in a fabulous robe, drinking a glass of milk. Blake comes in and they're talking about this. And like, Blake goes, "Oh, I don't know how all this happened. I just can't believe he would turn his back on me. Like, there's got to be more to the story." Crystal says, "Well, yeah, Alexis probably knows the whole story." So it's funny, the next day on the plane, Adam, who is Alexis's son, says the exact same thing. He's like, "I don't know why you're so chill about this. You know mama had something to do with this." Blake's like, "No, no, no. I made enemies on my own. Alexis is innocent this time." And Adam's like, "You have got to be kidding me. You don't smell Mother's Chanel #5 all over this?" Blake's like, "No, man, I pissed off Farouk. I accused him of kidnapping my grandson. Like, they were just waiting. They were just waiting for me." Adam's like, "You know what? You better than me. Because if it was me and she double crossed me, you know how I get down. She'd be out of here." I like the tension between Adam and Alexis because, yeah, he's the son that can just never be enough. It's all about Steven, Steven, Steven. Let's put a quick little pin in this story and flip over to Steven because something has come to light. Steven finally leaves his mama's office after 3 episodes. He goes to his office, and can you imagine that with a little digging, probably 2 or 3 swipes of the hanging folders, he finds the plans he thought Adam stole. Now, I have not gone back to figure out which episode would tell me if Adam took the plans or not. I tend to believe he didn't. And now Steven's like, dang, he goes into Alexis's office. He's like, "I owe Adam an apology. I just found I found that paperwork I accused him of stealing." And Alexis is like, "You know what? Good. Good on you. You need to apologize to your brother. But why the long face?" Steven feels bad because he's like, "If I hadn't made these plans, it would have never encouraged Adam to tell Dad about this South China deal, and then he wouldn't be in this predicament." Alexis is like, "Honey, you know this is not your fault. Things happen. Your dad messes with the wrong people sometimes. Things happen. Everything will be fine." Okay, back to Blake and Adam. Blake insists that this is all his own fault and that you just can't go willy-nilly accusing people of things because it's really embarrassing when you're wrong. Adam just has a look on his face like, "You know it was my mama. You know this. I know this, but whatever." So they get to Hong Kong and they are waiting for some representatives of the government. Obviously not Rashid Ahmed because nobody can find him. The only intel that they have is that someone saw someone who may or may not have looked like him boarding a private plane in a private airport. That's it. Very, very useless information. So these representatives of this nondescript government that comes in and they're, having a quick little conversation. "Hi, Mr. Carrington. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we saw the news. That's so whack. I can't believe that someone went on TV and said that." Well, Blake says, "Listen, we can put all this to bed. I've got a lot of investors who are very, very nervous, and I've got this time crunch. I got to start digging sooner rather than later. So can you guys put out a press release for me and just say the money did not go to buy arms, it went to buy this, went to buy, infrastructure or whatever it was they were working on." It was totally just like humanitarian efforts, really. Here's the thing. Adam tried to warn Blake before they boarded the plane that people do business differently in different parts of the world. It's not this government's cup of tea to like go on TV talking and stuff. They like to keep it very quiet. They like to be Mark Jennings. They like to sit back, collect their check, do business quietly, and move on. They're not really out there like that. They assure Blake, "Hey, we don't buy guns. We don't do all that. We're not trying to fight. Okay, we're rich. We're pretty. We're not trying to fight. We just want this infrastructure and whatnot." So they say, "That's not really how we do business. I'm so sorry. We're not going to be able to help you." Well, Blake gets mad. And he puts on his American trash. "I paid money. You have 100 million of my dollars, and I want to see some receipts. I want to see somebody's ass on television telling the whole world what a good guy I am." And they're like, "That's cute or whatever, but like your son tried to told you, this ain't America. And the last thing we're going to do is go on TV and mention this country that wants to blow us up. We're not going to even mention their name because we don't want smoke like that. And by the way, Mr. Carrington, we sold you oil leases. We did not offer you protection. We did not offer you provision. That's for you to work out. You either make that business work or you don't. Ain't that the American way? Get over here, figure out how you're going to dig in them holes. And that's it. Sorry for you." Blake's like, "Dang, you're right. Dang, you're right. You're right. Okay, dang. Okay." Everything's cool. So In America, Crystal is trying to be the PR woman and a solid wife, only she feels like Blake's not really giving her the full details, and he's not going to. This is one of the bigger issues in having a wife in a position like that. She can't be your PR person if you're not going to be open. It's like you can't have your wife be your lawyer if you're not going to be completely honest. It's just a conflict of interest. I learned from TV a long time ago that doctors are not allowed to perform surgery on their family. This makes a lot of sense. You probably don't, I don't know if lawyers have that same sort of creed where you just can't, represent someone a wife or a kid or something. Conflict of interest. So Crystal is trying to do this job that she's not necessarily versed in. I won't say she's unqualified, but listen, she does not have any experience. And this is a big deal. So that reporter who did an interview with Blake right after the merger, he comes back. And oh boy, he can't wait to dig into them. So basically he tells Crystal that whole interview he did with Blake is a wash because that turned out to be a complete and teetotal lie. So he wants to know, hey, Mrs. Denver Carrington, what are the repercussions of him funding this other country with arms? Crystal manages to keep it cool. Crystal doesn't really know how to handle this. This is new and this is big. The repercussions are that this company is probably sinking. She's not comfortable saying that because Blake hasn't actually told her that. So she tells the man to get out. He's like, cool. Go ahead and make sure you read my article next week when it comes out. So when they get home, I feel like Crystal calls me poor in 4K because Blake comes back from Hong Kong and she's sitting in the study with Fallon. And Fallon is, Daddy's little girl. Daddy, you're going to be okay, right? You're going to make sure you get this money back, right? Of course, darling, of course. So once Fallon leaves, Crystal's like, Blake, quit playing with me. She's wearing this incredible plum silk robe with a sequin collar and lapel. What do you need sequins for in a bathrobe? You need that when you're rich because she don't want her sleeping clothes to absorb any of like the helps air or something, I suppose. She doesn't want to roll over in bed and smell like she actually cleaned anything. So she's doing the extra. She looks amazing in this robe. And she says, Blake, stop playing with me. Stop putting me on this pedestal like I'm your precious little wife. I'm your PR person. You better tell me what's going on. And he's like, okay, so here's the deal. You know that $100 million I put together with all the contributors and whatnot? All of that came with a condition. I am on a time limit. If I don't start digging, if I don't find oil pretty soon, basically it's going to look really bad and I'm going to be $100 million in the hole. And she goes, oh, so it's either you start digging or you risk losing Denver Carrington. He's like, yeah. So now she understands kind of the weight of the situation. And that's Blake's whole dilemma this episode is, okay, what do I do now? So he's in trouble. Kind of surprising, but at the end of the day, you just don't do business with your worst enemy. You don't do business with somebody that you embarrassed. It's one thing to have a fight. It's quite another to embarrass. So, he's not wrong. Rashid Ahmed was probably waiting in the cut to do something to him eventually, but sometimes you deserve it, sometimes you don't. I would say he deserved it just a little bit. Someone who doesn't deserve it, though, is my girl Claudia the Stallion. As you know, they finally put that whole who's been sending her violets and Matthew Hips Don't Lie Blaisdell voice recording. It was the Do Dirt PI that Alexis has embarrassed. Oh my gosh, she's racking up the enemies. Anyway, in order to make sure this is fully put to bed, Steven calls up Claudia one morning and he tells her, hey, honey, I need you to come down to the police station. We basically have to press charges, blah, 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 put it on record so that he can be whatever, so they can get rid of it. I don't know if he's going to be given prison time or whatever. The scene was interesting to me in another way because Kirby is there. So Claudia's like, are you sure, Steven? I really don't want to do this. And he's like, yes, honey, just come on down here, give the deposition, and then you can leave. I think he says deposition. Enter Kirby. Kirby's got a gun. Kirby's got a gun. Run above daddy do. You know me? I don't know what that song says, but it fits so perfectly on this episode. Kirby has a blicky and she's got a target. Only she's so flustered throughout the entire episode you already know this is not going to go well. At least I did. Okay, so when we first see Kirby, she's sitting in the study catching up with Fallon. One of the servants has poured them a little cute little tiny glass, which reminds me I'm thirsty. Someone has poured them a tiny glass of brandy or whatever, right? Fallon's telling Kirby everything that happened to Blake. Kirby's like, oh my God, that's crazy. I can't believe I missed that. Yeah. Fallon's like, well, yeah, you missed the family meetings. What she means is, you missed that terrible event I made everybody get dressed up for, even though we've been at the kid's birthday party all day to tell you I'm marrying the man that you really love. Why would Kirby want to be there? She knew what was up. Kirby didn't really give an explanation. I'm assuming she was at the shooting range, but no one asked because no one cares. And we'll get to that in a second. So Kirby's looking at Fallon and she's starting to realize that Fallon looks like she's almost glowing. And she's like, well, you look really good. Like what's going on? That's when Fallon tells her, yeah, you missed the meeting last night. Kirby says, let me guess. Jeff proposed to you and you accepted. It's probably that giant garnet Jaja ring on Fallon's finger that gave it away. But she's like, yes. Yes, Kirby, we're engaged to be married and I want you to be happy for me, just like I'm happy. It is the audacity for me. You don't get to say that because first and foremost, was Fallon supportive when Kirby was with Jeff? She was not. Why would you think this woman has to celebrate everything you do? It's a very entitled position to come from, but that's par for the course. I would also like to point out that even in this scene, even though Jeff's not even there in this scene, there's still no chemistry when she talks about Jeff. You are never going to make me believe this under any circumstances ever, ever, ever. I could be dangling over a cliff. I will never be like, yeah, they loved each other. Never going to happen. Anyway, this news kind of makes Kirby sick to her stomach. So the next time we see her, yeah, I suppose she's had a little bit of time to think about it. I guess Kirby needs to wash the day off of her. She realizes that, yeah, she's missed out on a lot in her life. Not because of her own hand, but because of other people. So she goes upstairs, takes a shower, puts on a peach nightgown, and pets her gun to sleep. She wants to soothe herself with the cold steel between her fingers, only she's interrupted by a rat-a-tat-tat at the door. She goes leaping across the room, and here we see Adam. So this is all the same night that everything went down. I know she said last night. Fallon said last night, but this is all the same night. Adam comes in, and he's still in his penguin suit, and he's like, hey, me and Blake are going to go to San Francisco, and then we're going to fly to Hong Kong to take care of business. And then when I come back, we're going to make plans. We're going to get a marriage license and we're going to make babies. She's like, damn, didn't I just come off of like toxic shock? Can I recover a little bit? She didn't say that. I said that. Okay. Sorry. What she does say is, okay, well, when? How long are you leaving? Remember, she's already talked to Alexis about taking a job in Paris. How this is all supposed to work out, I'm sure I don't know. But she convinces Adam that she's going to miss him. And they have a little scene together. And dare I say it, there is way more passion between these two than there is Jeff and Fallon. Considering their past, this is a little bit disturbing. So they have a little fun before he's off and on his way. I hope she doesn't get knocked up now that I sit and think about it. The next morning, Kirby is at Brecky. She comes downstairs and it's very clear if you're paying attention that she's not quite in her right mind. You know, she's a little bit frustrated. She looks a little bit angry, but she comes and she sits down. Looks like she's just been at the gym working out. And Claudia's on the phone with Steve and he's telling her she needs to come make a statement, blah, blah, blah. Well, once Claudia hangs up the phone, she's like, oh, hey, Kirby, hey, I'm so glad I caught you. Why don't we throw a party for Fallon? Kirby's like, wait, a what? Why don't we throw an engagement party or like a bachelorette party for Fallon? Claudia's being her sweet little self, but Kirby clearly thinks, girl, you talking crazy again. Do I need to call the asylum? Why would I throw her a party? I'm not even a Carrington like that. That's what she says out of her own mouth. I ain't even a Carrington like that. I may never be no Carrington. If you're going to throw a party, you throw a party for her yourself. I am Team Kirby in this. First and foremost, you don't get a repeat party for me for marrying the same person. You certainly don't get a party for marrying my ex-husband. Kirby's also of the mind, like, what could we possibly give her? She already has everything. Claudia, being the sweet little saint she is, the love. Even a Carrington needs love. That sets Kirby off. That's when she's like, you know what, that ain't my sister. That you want to be a Carrington, you can be a Carrington. You can give her whatever you need. Not count me out. O-U-T out. Matter of fact, I got a blicky for her mama. That's her wedding gift. That's her gift. She gonna go to her mama's funeral. That's what's gonna happen. Cause y'all done pissed me off. Funny thought I had the other day. What do you think baby Blake is gonna think of Jeff as he gets older? Think about it. One day they're gonna have to sit him down and tell their story of this star-crossed lovers, requited love, blah, 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 and it all fell together. He's gonna have to explain, Jeff that is, that he slept with Aunt Claudia, he slept with Aunt Kirby, he slept with Mom twice, Mom used to hook up with his uncle. And then he's gonna be like, yeah, and then I let your mom name you after your grandpa because I don't have a spine. And then I gave up my rightful throne on the steps of Colby Co., which is the biggest company in Denver, to be a second-rate pseudo son to your grandpa because I don't have a spine. So the baby's gonna be like, wait a minute, wait. Hold up. Let me make sure I understand this right. My name is Blake Carrington Colby because you don't have a spine. I am really a Colby. My grandmama runs Colby Co., which is a bigger company, which means I could be in a bigger mansion, which means I've been sharing a nursery with my baby cousin. For what exactly? That kid's half hillbilly. I am blue blood through and through. Why? What do I look like sharing amenities? I'd be super pissed if I found out that my dad chose to be second rate. If you want to live this life of a bleeding heart because you're chasing behind my mama with 15 hyphens behind her name, that's you, my guy. Point me in the direction of the Colby mansion, please. Or at the very least, my grandmother's penthouse. That's neither here nor there because his auntie, or future auntie, Aunt Kirby, Anders Carrington, needs another shower so she can work up a nerve. She picks up the phone and she calls Alexis Carrington Colby. Alexis? It's me, Kirby. Remember we talked about Paris? You still got a job for me in Paris? Alexis is like, Kirby, are you okay? We just talked about this yesterday. Yes, absolutely. Okay, fine. I want to talk to you in person about it. Okay, can you be at my office in an hour? No, I can't get down there in an hour. Alexis is like, okay, how about tomorrow, 9 a.m.? Yes, I can do tomorrow at 9 a.m., but I'm picking you up. Alexis says, picking me up? Yes, I'm picking you up tomorrow, 9 a.m. Click. Alexis pays this dust. She is completely unbothered. I was actually shocked. I'm like, would she ride in a car? What kind of car is Kirby picking her up in? I was very, very concerned with it. You'll be happy to know, and surprised, she picks her up in a Ford Mustang. I'm shocked. I didn't think Alexis would get in a Mustang, but she does. Kirby nervously picks her up, and she drives her over to her old house. Now, this is where things start to get interesting. Kirby jumps out. She's got on a leather jacket. Kirby is she don't look like a lot of people, if that makes sense. She has a unique look. I'm not saying that she's strange looking or anything, but not many people look like her. She's got these large doe eyes, dark hair all the way past her butt. She's just very unique looking. She stands out. She drives a red Mustang through a residential neighborhood, pulls up to a house that's been empty for 20 plus years with a woman wearing a ginormous gray cloak, fur hat with like fur trim on it. It is so dope though. It's gray on the outside, lined with gray fur, but when you flip it over, it's red. Matches her other outfit that's underneath it. Ugh, love it. Anyway, they pull up in this Mustang. Kirby's like, you don't recognize this house? Does this bring back any memories? Alexis, no, where am I? This is my house. Oh, okay. This is my father's house. Actually, it hadn't been my house since my dad left after my mom died. Alexis doesn't have much to say because this is not what she showed up for. So they end up going to the house, and Kirby makes a comment about how empty it is. Yeah, it's been so empty. It's been this way since my father left, since my mother killed herself, and my father left to live in a mansion. Did you ever think about them? Did you ever wonder about them? Alexis is like, no. And I don't recognize this house because when I hire help, they come to me. Dang, she's right. Weird thing is, this house still has all the furniture. We saw this, I think, on episode, 2 or 3 of the beginning of this season. Furniture still covered up. They have this house that's just been sitting there. It's not running out nothing. Kirby thinks this is the perfect place to kill Alexis. So, mind you, Alexis thinks they're talking about Adam. She thinks they're talking about a position in Paris. She believes that they are meeting at this house so that no one in the family knows that they're meeting. That way nobody can point any fingers later on. Only Kirby is so nervous and just jittery this whole time. It starts to annoy Alexis. She's like, girl, I did not come here to talk about your dead parents. I'm out. She goes to turn and God bless Kirby. Even though she's been petting this pet gun to sleep every single night, she's been playing with it. She couldn't pull it out the purse quick enough. She starts fumbling and dumbling with the purse. Next thing you know, a nosy neighbor comes through, or a good neighbor, depends on how you look at it. He's with the neighborhood watch. He's like, hey. Nobody's lived in this house for 20 years. I saw this red Mustang. 2 rich bras come strolling in. I thought I'd come by to see what's up. Y'all buying the house or no? Alexis is like, man, no, I ain't buying this house. What do I look like living here? Could you point me in the direction of a phone? He's like, yeah, I can help you out. Meanwhile, Kirby's like, it's my house. Ladies and gentlemen, be good or be good at it. What was the plan, Kirbythius? You were going to bring Alexis to a house registered in your name. They were going to find her corpse registered there, lying in the house registered in your name. You didn't even bother to put your hair in a bun or put on sunglasses or a hat. You walked out in front of God and everybody. No neighborhood watch man saw you. What was the getaway plan? She wouldn't have even had the money to get the ticket right then and there. See, Kirby is a classic tale of she's gold digger adjacent. She has the ability to really get what she needs, but she can't because she's got that servant mindset. I thought about this episode. Kirby's entire existence on this show has been that she is in love with Jeff. She is Joseph's daughter. So she is very, very, very familiar, by all intents and purposes, to everyone who lives in or works in that mansion. Yet, none of them, not one single person, noticed that she was sick. Not one single person noticed that she was in duress. Not one single person noticed that she was acting all fidgety and weird, slipping in and out of the house at all hours of the night. You know why they don't notice it? Because you're not supposed to pay attention to the help. Even the help isn't paying attention to the help. And the reality is Kirby's never been the help, but she was raised by the help. And she carries that with her. She walks through the hallways with her head down. She don't really stand up for herself like that. She's always very accommodating. Congratulations, Fallon. I'm very happy for you. No, you really wanted to throw that drink in her face is what you wanted to do. But she feels like that would be out of pocket. She is never going to fit in this home until she starts taking her rightful place. Adam was left out in the rain. He grew up on a farm in Billings, Montana. That mofo changed his name immediately. You gonna see me. You gonna hear me. You gonna feel me. And if you don't, you know what I'll do. I'm a chemist. I'll turn paint into a sheetrock coffin. You keep playing with me. Kirby does not have that. Kirby is in the perfect position. She's in the rightful position to take whatever she needs. She could pull a Mark Jennings and be like, you know what, Colby? You wasted my time. You wasted my life. My new husband's a lawyer. I'm going to prove that you were banging Fallon all along and that you did it in denim, which is very embarrassing. And I'm going to take half of your stock in Colby Co. I'm going to own 1/4 of that company. She doesn't see herself that way. All she can think is, Alexis hurt my mother's feelings, so I'm going to shoot her in my house with all the evidence. Remember, she made that phone call. Everybody knows at Denver Carrington that she's been taking gun shooting lessons. God bless her, Curb. I think we have kind of coined the term mindset a little bit more in the last 10 to 15 years, but it really does have a lot to do with it. You got to be in the right mindset to take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves. So if Mark showed us the absolute best way and Kirby showed us the absolute worst way, what is a good and even middle ground? Enter somebody I had no idea existed anymore. You remember how Mark said he was going to New York? There was some sort of random apartment building. I don't think it said New York, but whatever. I kind of thought it was. We go up to the top floor of this apartment and you open it and there's this blonde brushing her hair in this really gorgeous, like deep hunter green bedroom. Baby, tell me why that was nobody but Samantha Jo. Or excuse me, yes, Samantha, Sammy Jo. Crystal's Hellcat, Ohio hillbilly baby niece. I couldn't believe it. I thought she was gone. Has she even been on? Was she in court this season or was that last season? I kind of thought Sammy Jo was like Tuscany. I thought she was gone. I had high hopes for her in the second season. Only now I'm like, okay, is she back? Is she here for good? I don't know. Let's get to it. So she's brushing her hair. She's having a good time. She seems to be giddy. When the door opens, you see Kevin James walk in. Yes, the king of queens, according to me, walks in. I was like, oh my God. It's not Kevin James. This guy would be way older than him, but it looks exactly like him. I am a huge fan of Kevin James, and I don't want to disrespect his legacy any further. So instead of calling this man Kevin James, we're going to call him Calvin Jim. Calvin Jim comes in looking Poindextery and way, way, way beneath. There's no way Sammy Jo's in his league, but she's all giddy. Calvin James, welcome home, boo. I didn't realize you'd be home so early. Look at my gown. She goes to the closet in the corner of the room. She pulls out this gown. I'm gonna wear this tonight. I'm gonna be so cute. Sammy Jo, or Samantha as she is called, has landed a dream modeling contract. Think CoverGirl in the late 90s. Think L'Oreal in the early 2000s. Think MAC Cosmetics in the 2010s. She is that girl. She's supposed to be on the cover of everything. She is geek. She's so excited. Oh my God, it'll be so cute. He's like, yeah, that looks cute. Now I'm thinking he's dismissing her because he's trying to hurry up and get one in before they go to this little gala. However, he's like, hey, so what had happened was there was an announcement made today. She's like, oh my God, they announced me? Oh, I can't wait. I'm the face of this company. Pretty face, pretty face, pretty face. Calvin Jimmy says, no, baby, they announced that the campaign was canceled. It's not going to happen. This feels like a likely story. And I tell you, Sammy Jo feels the same way. She drops the giddy. She's like, wait, what? What did you say to me, Calvin Jimmy? She can't believe it. She's like, wait, what? Cancel? What are you talking about? He's like, baby, none of that's important. It's not important. What's important is our arrangement. Arrangement? She's like, you think I like your big sloppy sleazy body all over me? I did this for the money. I am a gold digger. I did this for my campaign. I am supposed to be on the cover of magazines, billboards, all that teams. You think I did it because I want you? He's like, come on, now don't be like that. We got the perfect little arrangement. He's like, oh, arrangement, huh? How would your little wife like to hear about this little arrangement? Before you know it, Calvin Jimmy has reached back to New Jersey at least. And he slaps Sammy Jo right across the face. Cocktail. Listen, this is the Ohio alley cat. She'd been slapped many times in her day. She'd probably fist fight people on the regular. She leaps on him like white on rice, baby. She's swinging. She's fighting her very best. Only Calvin Jimmy is a little stronger than he looks. He lifts more than a briefcase, apparently. And he ends up heave-hoeing her over the side of a beautiful cream armless chair. Blot out. Flips over. She peeks over the top. She's crying terribly, by the way. Terrible acting, but I can't believe you did that. And he calls her, you whore. Storms out of this fabulous bedroom. Oh my God, she's humiliated. I ain't gonna model. I gave it away for free. See, that's the thing. She's a gold digger and she actually got stuff. She got a good apartment. Last time we saw her in an apartment, it was like a studio one. It's kind of not junky, but it definitely wasn't as swanky as this one. But now she's got to lick her wounds. So she gets in bed. She opens the latest copy of Teen Beat or J14, one of them teeny bopper magazines. And she makes a phone call. Meanwhile, in Denver, Stephen and Claudia in matching pajamas are getting ready for a little midnight rendezvous in their floral bedroom set. Stephen has on the bottoms. Claudia is wearing his top. It's about to go down when the phone rings. Damn, it's late. It's like 11. Who is this? It's like 11 o'clock at night. Who is it? Stephen goes over to answer the phone. To his surprise, it's Sammy Jo. Hey, Sammy. Hey, Stephen. What's up? How's the baby? Look, the baby's fine. He's asleep. Ain't it like 2 a.m. there? Yeah. I just couldn't sleep. I have this modeling contract. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to say hey. Bye. He don't really think much of it, but he does tell Claudia the stallion, who seems a little bit uncomfortable by it. End scene. I don't know if this is going to be a pleasant surprise, actually. I'm trying to really remember. The last time we saw her, she was in court testifying against him. So Stephen has full custody of the baby, right? Girl, I thought Sammy Jo was gone. I thought we wasn't going to hear from her. At least not for a few seasons. Oh, it's also worth mentioning that the side of her face is completely bruised from Calvin Jimmy's meaty hand coming across the side of her face. She needs to call his wife anyway. I would do it anyway. Or at least threaten it, or show up to his job, or do something. You can't just let this go, okay? You've already got the apartment. You need to keep yourself in a lifestyle that is accustomed to you. One of the caveats, or one of the takeaways I got from her conversation with Calvin Jimmy is that she was not allowed to see other men. Now, is that something she would not do? I don't know. I don't even really think that baby is Steven's, if I'm being perfectly honest. Because when he went to LA to find her, old face Steven, of course. When he went to LA to find her, remember she was just kind of like laying on the floor with this photographer in a bikini, giggling and whatever, like very happy to ignore him. So Sammy Jo seems to be the sort of gold digger who's going to sleep her way to the top, only she ain't picking the right people. This is the third time you've picked an almost wealthy guy. So she's in the right realm. She understands the neighborhood. She understands who should and could be wealthy, but she just keep missing the telltale signs. Steven wanted to go out and strike on his own and be independent. That didn't work out. Calvin James does work for an advertising agency only when you are a secret and you were pleasing him and you were kind of in a cage all day. There's no real incentive for him to do anything for you. You're already doing it. All you had to do was flash a couple of fancy things in your face and there she is. Well, I'd like to wish her the best on her endeavors. I hope she finds a real piece of gold or a real fertile ground to actually dig the gold and keep it. She's just gold digging adjacent. Hope she finds a baller. I don't know. She's got to go for an actor. You can't go for like the guys who work for a guy who knows a guy. That's not getting you anywhere. She's got to get like an actor or something. All right, y'all. That's it. That's all. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Dynasty as much as I did. Join me next time as we jump back into some West Coast drama. We're going back to Knots Landing. I'm about 19 minutes into this episode and it is good already. In the meantime, in between time, if you are going to be a gold digger, do your homework. Act like you've been there before and know when to be quiet and just kind of fade into the background. That seems to be paying the most. Stay hydrated. Enjoy you something bubbly and a champagne flute. I feel so important right now. Stay hydrated, stay moisturized, mind your own business, and keep all of your drama on TV.